So in the family, so running your own business, it sounds to me like that was the environment you grew up in.
Yeah, my mom actually became an entrepreneur later in life. She was a career like, worked for the government or the state in private companies, and she started a franchise, in her like 50s, in her 50s, late 50s. Um, but I did grow up. My dad worked for a while for a company, and then he risked everything to start his own company. So we saw the good, the bad, the ugly of that, of the just the risk and stress that that brings. Um, and my brothers have always I'm really close to my two older brothers, and they've always kind of been entrepreneurs. So yeah, I would definitely say I grew up in that type of environment. And even as a kid, my dad, we did like a stock competition where he gave us $100 of play money, and we had to invest in stock. And I screwed up. My brother invested in Apple. He would have been literally a multimillionaire if that was real money. Um, and so just little things like that, that helped create that in us.
Yeah, I mean, the environment is a big deal because that's you are conditioned. So it's like the natural course in your life that this is where you're gonna go. But what I'm also hearing is so your transformation at the age of 21 or so, was that what caused that transformation? Can you pinpoint?
Well, transparently, I became a Christian. Like I grew up in a Christian home, but I would say my whole life I worried about what everyone else thought, and it made me very insecure. And so something like, it was a spiritual encounter. And so it totally changed my life and how I view like, what people think of me. And it just made me a lot more extroverted, and just how I relate to people. So it's probably a little bit different for me than most people, but that's kind of what happened, I guess, in my life.
Well, I mean, this is something that I've heard before, and something always happens. So, and what was the event that led to that? So, what opened your eyes?
Um, I mean, for me, I grew up in Arkansas, which is like the Bible Belt, and so everyone was a Christian or quote unquote. But I think the unfortunate thing is like it's a lot of you see a lot of bad examples of it. So I actually had a good friend of mine in my fraternity that was a good example of it. And for like a year, we just built a really good relationship. And I was like, crap, like I'm a hypocrite. I'm a huge hypocrite. And it just changed my perspective of just seeing his life. Like I was tired of being fake. I was tired, and that's the problem with the online digital marketing space is it's full of people who are just we're just pretending to be something more than we are. And it was just refreshing to see someone who was authentic. And like that's what I want to be as a business owner with our employees and our customers is, I'm not trying to sell snake oil. Like, we want to be authentic and just be genuine people who care about the people that are like as business owners we have a unique opportunity like we're involved we create an ecosystem and we've got employees who um, talk to me about when they go home their family asks them, oh, what did Aaron do today, like because in India it's not common to like be friends with a foreigner. And so I've got 80 employees, but then think about all their family and extended family. You're talking multiple hundreds of people that you know look at your life. And so for me, I want to live a life that uh, does good, that brings good to people, and not just creates money and screws people over. Does that make sense? So that's kind of my mission statement.
Well, I mean, listen, this is this is the meaning of life. It's making an impact, right? So that's what
Yeah,
you are doing, and then be authentic. I mean, at the end of the day, Aaron, really, when you think about it, we all go through life, 21st century, AI, there's all kinds of entertainment, everything is at your fingertips, all kinds of conveniences. But at the end of the day, that's just, you know, it's easy to be so uh, like a hawk in emails and chats, but that's not who people are. So they
yeah.
put on this face and hide behind technology and everything else. But it's very simple the way you put it. Be who you are, and try to make an impact, because you're not living
Hmm.
alone at the end of the day. And we all have a responsibility, because we're not living in isolation. So every day you get up in the morning, you're touching somebody, and
Right.
make sure that that is something that is doing good, so that you leave your mark in a positive way. So
Hmm.
it's admirable, the way you're doing it. And I'm this friend of yours, so I'm sure you're still in relationship, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I owe like I met my wife because of that change that happened to me and like our kids. So I try to have. I know a lot, this is kind of a secular concept now of like gratitude journaling and stuff. And so very often I do think through these things and people who've impacted me and try to send a text every now and then, like, hey, just want to say I love you and thank you for what you did to me, did for me. I think those are things that really um, are reciprocal in their benefit. So if you, especially with the chronic loneliness thing I talked about, man, you just never know what someone's going through. Like, pull your phone out and send someone an encouraging text. Like, it'll make their day. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was gonna say, have you ever told that friend of yours the kind of impact he made? But I have a feeling you have.
Oh yeah, for sure. And he does. He actually works with refugees, in a metropolitan city in the States, and so we support the work they do. They do a lot of really good work with people who are coming from war torn countries and stuff. So we're still very much involved in what they're doing, but just we don't live in the same place. But
Yeah. No, this is I know this firsthand, because I have a best friend, and we've been friends now 40 plus years. And there was a very dark time in my life, and it was something that he said. It was overnight. He just said
mm,
something, and that changed my perspective. And I always say, they say, how did you get through? And I say two things. I said, first of all, I had faith in a higher being, and I
mhm,
thought, help me, help me, help me, and I got help. And also, my best friend said something. He said, you know, you you've done it before. That means you know how to do it, so you can do it again. Just hang in there.
right.
So, and these things they make an impact, and it transform your life, turn you into an extrovert from introvert, and
Yeah. And your
it's
friend probably didn't think much of it at the time, right? Like that's the
no,
thing is like
exactly.
life and
Yeah.
death are in the power of the tongue.